This is Southern Cross News with Rick Fontaine.
Good evening. A woman has been killed and a man injured after their light plane crashed in the state's northeast late yesterday afternoon. The tragedy happened on a private property 45 kilometres east of Bridport between Tomahawk and Boobyalla, making access difficult for emergency crews. Our reporter Tom Johnson has more from the scene.
This crash happened at around 4:30 yesterday when a light aircraft overshot a private runway and collided with a tree. Two passengers from Sheffield were on board the Cessna when it came down.
The plane attempted to land on the airfield behind us, missed the runway and has clipped a tree at the end of the runway, resulting in it crashing off the end of the runway. One of the residents of the farm was a witness to the crash when it occurred.
Tragically, a 63-year-old woman died from serious head injuries. Emergency services airlifted her to the Launceston General Hospital last night in a desperate bid to save her. It's understood she died en route. A 68-year-old male was also taken to hospital. He remains in a stable condition and is expected to spend another night receiving treatment. Today, inspectors from the Australian Transport Safety Bureau were flown down from Melbourne to attend the scene and determine what factors contributed to the crash. Part of the investigation will focus on who the pilot was when the plane went down.
There's obviously a significant investigation to be undertaken, and we'll know more of that in the near future.
A report is being prepared for the coroner.
Tasmanians can expect the imminent announcement of the election with the clock ticking towards a March polling day. Both major parties are well and truly in campaign mode, but minor party challenges could spoil their chances of a majority government.
Rallying party faithful, Labor officially launching its candidates' campaigns in Denison and Franklin.
It's a really important opportunity for us to rally the troops and to encourage them to continue to campaign hard for majority Labor government.
Parties ramping up their campaign in earnest, with the earliest and most favoured election date just 6 weeks away. But the Premier is still holding his cards close as to when he'll call it.
A hint, 1 week or two, can we relax?
Look, it's imminent. You do need to relax. I think you'll be amongst the first to know, and look, we'll make an appropriate announcement in due course.
The Liberals today making a $340 million pitch to improve prisons. Risdon would get a 70-bed remand centre, while a new 270-inmate prison would be constructed in stages at an unspecified northern location.
The decision will be made on what is the best place for the prison, its infrastructure, staff, the facilities and amenities it needs, and to provide a contemporary, fit-for-purpose prison for the North.
Labor announced a $106 million affordable housing package. It includes 3 multi-residential developments in each region and 75 public housing properties in regional areas. The party would also consider foreign investor and vacant property taxes.
Housing affordability is a big challenge for many Tasmanians who are struggling to pay their rent and struggling to break into the housing market.
But this election, Jackie Lambie's candidates could be a spoiler for the major parties, launching Lions candidates today.
I think Lions is a good ground for us, a good stomping ground to take 1 or 2 seats away.
The lineup includes a high-profile East Coast mayor who's previously campaigned against hung parliaments, where no party holds absolute majority.
Let's give the Tasmanian community the opportunity to determine whether the balance of power is in the hands of the Greens or the balance of power can be in the Jackie Lambert network.
Here he is trying to have the exact opposite position, saying he would like to be in there with a minority government. So what we're seeing in the Jackie Lambie network is no consistent policy.
With the polling date set to be revealed in the next 2 weeks, the political fighting is only set to intensify. Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
Traffic was held up on the Tasman Bridge today after a car towing a Holden Commodore crashed on the eastbound lanes. Vehicles were reduced to a crawl for nearly an hour while police cleared the scene. No injuries were reported. Well, MOFO is nearing its end, but the Tasmanian Summer Festival certainly isn't winding down. Crowds were out for the final day of MOFO at Mona before the festival moves to Launceston next year. The Black Rock Band from West Arnhem Land kicked off the main stage today, celebrating culture, country and the fight for social justice. Events are continuing until Tuesday with the final performance, a collaboration between the Violent Femmes and the Tasmanian Symphony Orchestra.
The Hobart Hurricanes BBL finals hopes are hanging on a knife's edge, with 3 teams now sitting just 1 win behind them on the ladder. A 66-run effort from Simon Malenko wasn't enough against the Scorchers overnight, with the home side getting it done in the final over of the match.
Normally Darcy Short provides the early spark. Last night it was Matthew Wade's turn, belting 22 off the second over.
Oh, Wade goes big, clears the rope.
Wade's blistering run with the bat cut short on 31, courtesy of Joel Paris, before the Canes' danger man was sent packing on 11.
He's hit one straight to mid-on. He was frustrated from the previous delivery. When you're in this sort of form, you'd be surprised if you don't get it to the boundary and could only get it to Ashton Agar. That is a massive blow for the Hurricanes.
The skipper slowly set about salvaging the innings. Ben McDermott taking on Ashton Agar, but coming off second best with his day done on 8. The spinner claiming another victim just 3 balls later.
Christian has got all his feet tangled up. Didn't go forward, didn't go back.
In need of a saviour, Simon Malenko answered.
Oh, that's a big hit. Have some of that.
What a blow!
The all-rounder belting 66 off 37, combining with Bailey to see the visitors 5 for 167 after 20 overs, before Tom Rogers got them off to a perfect start with the ball.
High, backtracking his point. He gets there. What a great catch, Darcy Short.
Cam Bancroft wouldn't prove such an easy get, frustrating the Canes' attack as he settled right in.
Shot. Oh, that is beautifully executed.
Drop for Archer, the next to strike, removing Klinger on 17, but Bancroft refused to budge. Hilton Cartwright contributing to the cause with some quick boundaries before Christian claimed his first and only scalp of the night.
He's bowled him on the base of leg stump with a great Yorker.
But when Ashton Turner fired up, the Scorchers were on their way as Bancroft brought up his 50 in style.
Boom, even more aggressive from Bancroft.
Tamal Mills bringing him unstuck 4 runs later before Archer produced one of the moments of the tournament.
Keeper's end might be tight here.
Trouble.
That's how you do it, son.
On the boundary.
Another power hit from Turner, setting the home side up for victory, and needing just 5 off the final over, he closed things out with a few balls to spare.
Tasmanian Richie Port has fallen painfully short of becoming the first person to claim back-to-back Tour Down Under titles. With no time separating him from Daryl Impey, the South African beat him on count back, the first time that's happened in the race's history.
A 90-kilometre circuit through the main streets, it was the Adelaide CBD's turn to experience the Tour for its 6th and final stage. With 125 riders rolling across the start line, Tasmanian Nathan Earl was among the early leaders, before American Logan Owen turned up the heat, maintaining the break to claim the first of the day's sprints. With Nicholas Lamini having already wrapped up the King of the Mountain honours, Ben O'Connor was still keen for the extra points, going on to take the second sprint in the 3-second time bonus. With the main contenders for overall honours sitting pretty in the pack, the stage was set for a blistering final lap. A crash on the turn did nothing to slow the pace, with Australian pocket rocket Caleb Ewan challenged by Andre Greipel on the home stretch. Greipel snatching his second stage win, but it was yesterday's winner in South African Daryl Impey with the most to celebrate, claiming his first Tour Down Under, with Richie Port in second. A tough result for the Tasmanian to swallow, with the result determined by count back for the first time in the event's history.
Thrilled. It's coming into the race, didn't expect to win the race, but sometimes the stars line up and everything goes well.
Tasmania's best young athletes have tested themselves over 2 days of competition at Hobart's Domain Athletics Centre for the annual Little Athletics State Multi-Event and Race Walk Championships. Around 250 students competed, from under 9s through to under 15s. The next big student meet is the State Individual Championships on March 3, while 6 successful athletes from today's under 15 multi-event category will earn selection for the Australian Little Athletics Championships on the Gold Coast in April.
Good evening. Hobart 23 today, Launceston 28, Burnie 22, Devonport 23. It was another warm one in Bushy Park, hitting 28 today. Flinders 27, Grove 26, Friendly Beaches 25, and Lyawini, Strawn and King Island all on 24 today. We did have a bit of rain overnight. There was some drizzle statewide, but the highest recorded rainfall was 3.2 mil at Derby. 29 was also the state's top in Launceston, with the state's low a 7 overnight in Warra. The satellite showing a low-level band of cloud associated with a low-pressure trough over most of southern Australia and a large convective area of cloud embedded with thunderstorms for the top end. Up close, high-level cloud over northern Tasmania with low-level cloud in the central and northern parts of the state. Tomorrow we can see a cold front crossing Tasmania from the west with a high-pressure ridge pushing into the Bight. Heat lows will still be present in Western Australia and central Queensland. On the water, east to southeasterly winds to 20 knots with seas around 2 metres in the west and south. There are no current weather warnings. In Hobart and Dover tomorrow, cloudy with 25, Ooze getting up to 29. Scottsdale, cloudy with 27, Devonport 25 and Launceston, look out for more hot conditions with 31. Cloudy across the north with Burnie on 27, Strahan 20 and Stanley 22. And possible showers on the east coast with 26 for St Helens, 24 in Swansea and 32 for Ross. I don't ever remember Ross being that hot. The UV tomorrow is extreme for all areas. The 3-day forecast starting Tuesday is showers across the west, far south and east coast, clearing in the afternoon, fine elsewhere. Wednesday morning showers about the east coast and fine elsewhere. And Thursday showers in the east, easing in the afternoon and fine elsewhere. Lapping the map tomorrow, Perth 33. Adelaide 31, a stinker for Canberra on 37, Sydney windy with 33 and Melbourne humid again on 26.
Well, that is all your news for now. Don't forget the tennis is coming up next. Thanks for joining us. From all of us here at Southern Cross, a very good night.